Hello, baby. Hello, nasty. Hello there. Hello. I say hello. Hello, friend. Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator. The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hey, welcome to episode 152 of The Brink of Sanity.
Yes, we are doing the Brink Show because it is Sunday or Monday or whatever day it's Sunday.
It's Sunday. It's a rainy Sunday, so what else are we going to do?
Yeah, why not? It beats watching my crying baby. The wife's doing that instead.
All right. So we're going to talk about the next batch of TV shows that we did. There's a lot of them. Yes, there are. I just wanted to comment real quick on our website, brinkofsanityshow.com. Somebody commented on my lip piercings rant, and the comment was, closed-minded fool, none of these females got lip piercings to impress you. Really? I thought they all got lip piercings to impress me.
I thought it was not impressed. It was more like, look at me, look at me. Have you noticed I really want you to look at me?
The whole point of the post, which apparently was too difficult to understand, was that they look terrible. It has nothing to do with me. They look terrible.
They look good if you're going to be a lesbian. That's about it.
Yeah, they're not good. And then we get about 4 million spam comments, and I don't know what the point of it is. It's not really like selling anything, so I really don't know what they're doing. Like, we got one that says, Pokemon is great. It's a wonderful way for girls to play with each other. One of the awkward things is when you see a 5-year-old play with a 40-year-old. This game is for kids' games. Let them play it. And that is a comment for our rant on disgusting pictures on cigarette packs.
Yeah, we get like 10 of these a day now. Of these stupid spam messages that have no bearing on what the actual site is. You click on it, they're not even selling anything to you. I don't even know what the hell the point of it is.
When it comes to fish, I think the trout is the best tasting. I'm not a big fan of eating frozen food from far away. If it's cold, I'll eat it anyways. Fishing is the best sport and worth every minute of it. On a post to the top 5 ways to end the U.S. debt crisis.
That actually, I didn't mean to make that a comment. That was actually supposed to be my rant just about fish.
It's just so random. Like, none of these make any sense.
Yeah. Okay, before we go into the shows, what do you think of the whole Occupy Wall Street thing that's going on?
I think it's really shady that Yahoo blocked every email going to it.
That's shady. But what do you think of the actual thing? Like, is it something like, have you gone down there?
I have not gone down there. I think they're on to something. And I'm glad somebody's speaking up. I think if they weren't on to something, there wouldn't be pretty much like a media freeze on it, and the cops wouldn't be like super... I mean, somebody obviously told the cops to be superly over-aggressive about this.
I mean, when you look at like the mainstream media, like you look even like the New York Times or like CNN, they're like, there's 10 people, like there may be like, there's 50 people out there, crazy granola people who want to overthrow the government. Like something like they make it seem like it's this crazy fringe group, when I think most people agree with the general idea that Wall Street's harming us and we need to rein it in.
That's why I think they might be onto something, because the media is really trying to downplay this and ignore it.
I saw in the paper I guess they arrested like 700 people yesterday. They let the protest. The protest they wanted to like close down Brooklyn Bridge. So the police let them all walk on the Brooklyn Bridge and like gave them a police escort. And once they were all on the Brooklyn Bridge, they surrounded them and arrested like 700 people.
That's so messed up.
Yeah, like all the people like they interviewed who got arrested were like, the police were like escorting us. We didn't think it was a problem because the police were saying sure, and then they're like this. I don't know if they're actually going to charge anyone, but I think they wanted to lock everyone up and like teach them a lesson.
Yeah, the cops are being super sketchy about this. Like, there's a video of a girl crying, and the cop just walks over to her and maces her. And, another one where a cop just runs up and punches a guy in the face. Like, they're being super sketchy about this.
Yeah, I mean, like, and our mayor, Bloomberg, is just like, yeah, he's basically like, oh, these people are crazy. Wall Street's everything to us. How could they even, like, it's like you, like, pissed on his religion.
Yeah, it's like, well, 2% of people have money in Wall Street, and, like, everyone else is poor. So maybe that's why people are angry.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if Wall Street just got up and left the United States, we'd probably actually be a better nation.
Yeah.
And, this is what Bloomberg said. He said they're protesting, all they're protesting are people who make like $40,000, $50,000 a year, who are just trying to get by and feed their families. And, like, that's not who they're protesting. They're protesting the bankers who are making like $18 million a year. They have nothing, no one's protesting the people that are like, the administrative staff there.
That's why I think they might be onto something. The government's like super scared about this.
And I think Bloomberg's other comment was like, without these banks, like, people won't get loans and society won't move forward. Like, and you're like, this has nothing to do with people getting loans. Everyone down there probably is totally fine with the banking system, where people like put money in a bank and the bank loans that money to like businesses. That's totally fine. That's not what the Wall Street's doing at all.
Yeah, that's totally not the point.
The other criticism from like very liberal bloggers is they need a more coherent message, which I don't know. It's hard to get a group of people to have they should. I guess they probably need a coherent message. I don't know.
Whatever. All right.
I think it's what the Tea Party was. The Tea Party kept protesting, had no messages at all until they were bought by the Republicans, and then they had a message.
Yeah. So
we're waiting till like I guess like some like Google acquires the protest. They'll have some message that'll help Google. Okay, so we're not going to do political stuff, so let's go to our shows. So we're doing TV shows, and we watched a lot of shows. We have a lot of shows to review. And for the first week in a long time, or the first week since we started doing this, I don't think all the reviews are going to be bad. I think we're going to have some disagreements about what we liked, and I think the shows, let's see.
All right, so you decided to watch The New Girl a second time, because I would not. So okay. How was the second episode of The New Girl?
Shockingly, the second episode was worse than the first episode. It was... The show would be better if the new girl wasn't on The New Girl. She is the worst possible character, just so like nails in the chalkboard, annoying. The second episode, what was it about? I watched this like a couple days ago, but basically the Wayans brother moves out, so their other roommate moves in. They replace one black guy with another black guy who like kind of looks the same. They have a reason. Like he's like their roommate. They don't. I don't remember if they explain why the other guy went. But they're like this guy used to live with us. Now he's living with us again. He moved back in, and at the same time, Zoe, the new girl, is running out of clothes because she left all her new stuff all her old stuff at her ex-boyfriend's, and they're all like, "You have to go back and get it." And she's like, "No, I can't go back and get it." And then the guy the new roommate who moved back in, used to play on professional basketball in like Serbia or some random place in Europe or Asia, and yeah, so they're playing around with the basketball, and she throws the basketball and hits their big screen TV and breaks it. And so now they're like, you have to go and get your big screen TV back because we don't have to have a TV. So they force her to go. And she meets up with him, and the guy has like this magical spell on her, and like instead of actually getting her stuff back, she drives him and his girlfriend to the airport, or gives the guy's girlfriend a ride to the airport.
Are you making this up, or was this really what happened?
This is really what happened. Oh. And then they're like, "Oh, how could you fall for it?" And then all the guys go with her, and she gets her stuff back. The show's not remotely funny. It tries too hard. I hate it. They've already actually signed on they've already ordered a full season of this show.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Fox. I mean, the ratings weren't as good for the second episode. The reviews weren't as good, but they're like, yeah, we like it, and they're going for the full season because if you look at what else Fox shows, they really just show a bunch of stuff that should have been canceled.
So, if you're keeping track, our first 5 shows we have all canceled. Not the networks.
No, Whitney we haven't.
Yeah, that's our 6th show.
Oh, okay. First 5 shows we canceled.
Yes.
We'll get to Whitney in a second. But The New Girl, absolutely horrendous.
I'm very glad
it's just the problem is they tried too hard, and all the guys she lives with, I mean, they're okay actors. Some of the lines they're delivering are like semi-funny, but they're just not delivered very well. Mm-hmm. There's no chemistry between them. Like, there's no like they're everything they had positive, she ruins by being the most annoying. Like, no one would act like her in real life. You would never find a girl that's hot, that's so dorky and so like extraordinarily annoying. I don't know. It'd be hard to find. It's not based in reality, the show.
I mean, if it's anything like the first episode, she's not dorky. She's just like retarded.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not that she's dorky. She's dorky and like just was like a real like nerd. That's fine. She's meant like maybe she's autistic. Maybe that's the show. Maybe like it's like the new autistic girl. Then I would understand it.
Maybe that'll be the season finale. They find out that she's like legally retarded.
Yeah.
All right, so that show's done. We're 0 for 5 so far in our search for a new show.
Okay, so the first show of the week was Pan Am.
You don't want to go over the second episode of Whitney?
Oh, let's do that. So what happened in the second episode?
Well, the second episode of Whitney, she realizes that she never had a real first date with her boyfriend. They kind of just met at a bar and slept together. So she wants to have a real first date. And so they do that, but then they kind of keep continuing with that, pretending that, like, they now have to call each other. And, like, they basically just start the whole relationship over again.
Yeah, so basically they take, like, a little premise, like, we never had a first date. And but they take it to, like, a little more comical heights. Because, like, she expects him to really treat it like a first date. And he's like, haha, it's not really a first date. And then she's like, well, you can't, even though they live together, she's like, I'm not going to invite you in on the first date. So he has to go sleep somewhere else. Then, like, he's like, well, maybe I should delay calling her. I shouldn't call her right away because it was the first date. And they go back and forth.
Right. And then, like, then she wants him to call, so she wants to impress him. So she's wearing, like, a skimpy outfit, trying to run into him. So I think every episode is just going to be her trying to wear, like, a skimpy, sexy outfit.
Well, I feel like every episode is going to be, like, a little, like, some kind of joke taken too far. Not taken too far, sorry. Some joke, like, played up, basically. Mm-hmm. Take, like, the first episode, they did the nurse thing. She, like, pretended to be a nurse, but then, like, made him go through all the actual steps of being a nurse. Right. This one, they go on a first date, and she makes them actually go through all the steps. Yeah. I have to say, I like this show so far.
I don't hate it.
It's not, like, good. It's not something like, if we weren't doing this show, I probably never would watch this. And if I caught one episode, I probably wouldn't watch another episode. But I think this is by far the most promising of all the shows. There were genuine laughs in the second episode also. Did you think there were some funny parts?
Yeah, and it's getting torn apart by everyone.
Is it?
Yeah, the show is getting trashed. If you go on IMDb, it's all 1-star ratings.
Oh, wow.
It's getting, like, destroyed. I don't know. You know what? They toned down All Her Friends, which was our biggest complaint about the first episode. They were all a little toned down in the second episode, which was much better. None of them were funny, but they weren't aggravating.
The weird laugh track / audience was toned down also. It wasn't as annoying in the second episode.
Yeah. So, you want to give this a third?
I absolutely think we should give this a third. I think this is, of the shows we've reviewed so far, this is by far the best one.
Okay. I wouldn't call it good, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I wouldn't call it good, but it's really not terrible so far. And I think it has some potential. The big problems still are no one can act on the show. Mm-hmm. And they try to push too many jokes in. They just try to joke, and it's kind of annoying. But they do go for some bigger jokes, and the bigger jokes are kind of good.
And the boyfriend's still the best guy on the show.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, like, terrible. She's not hot, but she's, like, attractive.
Yeah. All right, so we'll give that one another week. So
yeah, I mean, I guess there's no real. Do you laugh at any parts of the show?
I do. I laugh once in a while. I mean, obviously not as much as most other shows, but that I watch. But it's better than. It's better than some shows. It's definitely better than The New Girl, and it's.
I'd laugh more watching that than I'd ever laugh watching. 2.5 Men.
Yeah, it is. It's better than 2.5 Men, and it's better than Up All Night, which I never thought I'd say 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Up All Night makes New Girl look really good.
Yeah, we're not watching Up All Night ever again.
I can't ever watch the show again. And that one is like a ratings. That one, everyone's talking about how great that is.
Oh, it's terrible. It's really bad.
Yeah, it really, really is bad. Like, I don't understand. Like, what are people watching? It's like instead of like, it's like they went to watch the show and they actually watched a rerun of Seinfeld and they're like, oh, it's so good. This is great. Not realizing it was Seinfeld.
Yeah. So the sad thing is, Up All Night.
So I didn't realize they had reviews of this on IMDb.
Yeah,
it gets a 6.1 so far on IMDb.
Oh, Whitney?
No, Up All Night. Oh. Whitney gets like a 4.
Yeah, I know. The sad thing is, Up All Night is going to be on for a while, and Whitney's going to get canceled.
What do you think New Girl gets? New Girl gets a 7.7.
All right. Now I see why nobody listens to our show, because we don't agree with like the normal human population.
No, but if you look at things that have been out for a long time on IMDb and see their ratings, like one of the highest rated show ever on IMDb, I think, is The Wire. We completely agree The Wire is great.
Yeah. What's your point?
That if this show was on for a year, enough people would have watched the show and realized it's terrible and had given it like a 4 eventually.
I would hope so.
It would even out basically.
All right. So our new shows this week were Pan Am, Terra Nova, How to Be a Gentleman, and we threw in Suburgatory because we're quickly running out of shows.
Thank you for throwing that in.
So the first show that was on was Pan Am.
Okay. By the way, the Playboy Club gets a 6.7 here. And IMDb is so unreliable. Playboy Club, the first episode was terrible.
Yeah.
They're probably already talking about canceling the show, and it gets a decent rating on here. Though that really doesn't bode well for Whitney, which gets a 4 on here.
I know. We might even not be able to watch the third episode if it's pulled before it comes on.
Yeah. Okay, so Pan Am.
Yep, it's about flight attendants.
Basically,
in the 60s.
Yeah. They all have their little backstories.
Okay, well, I guess we should explain a little more before we get into our review. That was the whole episode. They get ready for a flight. They fly. One of the girls is an undercover spy, so she switches passports for this guy.
She works for the CIA, I guess?
Something like that. So she switches passports, and then she finds out at the end it was a test, and now she's hired as a spy.
Another one's backstory is she slept with this guy on her flight, and then sees the same guy on the flight, but it's this guy. This time, the guy is with his family, and she ends up getting stuck, spending a lot of time with the family. But at the end of the episode, the wife has an aside with her and just and says, "Don't sleep with other people's husbands." So the wife was nicer the whole episode, but then threw in at the end that you slept with my husband.
Yeah, another one ran away on her wedding day to become a flight attendant.
And her big thing in the show is that she wasn't, at some point she was walking around, she got photographed, and her photograph ended up on Life magazine, which was a very popular magazine then, and with her being the face of Pan Am, and everyone recognizes her now. And
Christina Ricci was grounded, but then they called her up because some other girl was not able to fly.
She kind of seems like the rebel character in some
even though
way.
She had 3 lines and didn't do anything.
Yeah. Anyhow, so they all form the crew that is the 4 people that you see in the posters for the show. These are the 4 people you're going to follow their stories going forward.
For the people who live in Manhattan, they have that big MetLife building in Midtown, and it said Pan Am on it in the show. Is that real? Did that used to be a Pan Am building, or was that just did they do that for the show?
I mean, probably. Pan Am used to be huge.
Yeah. If that's the way flight attendants used to look, we got screwed.
In general, I think they're trying to go for pretty accurate. And Pan Am used to be a huge airline. And at some point, I don't know what happened to it, but I guess it went under. It's financial. I'm looking on Wikipedia. It collapsed financially in 1991. When all the airlines were deregulated. Mm-hmm. But in the 60s, 70s, it was huge, and it probably was the MetLife building. It probably had that big building then.
That being said, this was the worst show we've watched so far.
I disagree.
Are you serious?
I disagree. Yes, I completely disagree with you. I don't think this is the worst thing we've watched. I thought this was a lot more entertaining than like the Playboy Club.
I was miserable. I was like physically in pain by the end of the episode. It's the only episode of any show that I've actually had to fast forward parts.
I heard a review somewhere else where they were saying how it's like try to be Mad Men, but it's really kind of just it's kind of like Desperate Housewives in the air more than, or it's just more like following these 4 soap opera style, which Mad Men really isn't exactly.
Almost absolutely nothing happened.
Not a lot happened in the episode, but I think they just laid the groundwork. They wanted to introduce everyone and kind of lay the framework of who all these people are, and then we can go forward following them.
So which one of these awesome storylines did you find compelling?
I didn't find any of the stories compelling in particular. I just found I found it all slightly interesting because I find Pan Am to be a more interesting part of it, like in the whole like stewardess thing, much more interesting in part of our history than the Playboy Club history. Like for a while, the stewardess were like this thing, like they were like the hot girls, and it was like a very big deal to be a stewardess. Then it became like being a waitress eventually. I don't know. At some point, like it really lost prestige, but I think it was kind of cool back then.
Okay, so that made you want to watch the show?
I'm curious to see. I mean, like they laid some groundwork. I actually would recommend a second episode.
Okay. Do I have to watch it?
Yes, yeah, you do. Well, let's see what else you say with the other shows. Let's see if there's anything else you want. You're going to force me to watch.
Jesus Christ, I hated that show.
I thought it was slow, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was terrible.
Yeah, my show notes, I only have 3, and one of them was worst show so far.
Not a lot happened. It's definitely not the worst show so far.
I think it's by far. I'd rather watch The New Girl.
I wouldn't. First of all, Charlie's Angels was the worst thing I've seen so far. Well, actually, Playboy Club may be the worst one I saw so far. Then Charlie's Angels, then New Girl, then Up All Night, then then The Ringer was really bad also.
We have watched a lot of bad TV.
But either way, I bet this show has a little more potential than on IMDb. It gets 6.7. The ratings actually were pretty decent for Pan Am.
Okay, whatever.
So
we'll have to pause the show in about a half hour to set my DVR because I deleted the show from my thing, assuming that you would hate it.
I didn't. I want to give it a second chance. I want to give some shows a second chance, and we're running out of shows also.
Fine.
What's our next show?
Terra Nova. It was. It takes place in the future. In the future, we've destroyed the environment. Everyone has to wear masks to go outside. The whole world is pretty much covered in dust clouds. And, they have limits on you can only have 2 kids. And basically it's just a bleak future. But they find like a rip in the... I don't know.
By the way, this future where there's dust clouds everywhere and you can't breathe and all these problems in the future... Mm-hmm. It's pretty much in every science fiction story I've ever seen is that exact future.
Well, yeah, no, like, I don't know, in the 50s and 60s, everyone pictured the future as utopia. And then somewhere in the mid-70s, everyone realized that humankind is just screwed and everyone had a bleak future outlook. Yeah.
I had watched the first half hour, mm-hmm. and then just having to do other things, I didn't watch the final hour and a half for like another 4 days later.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour season premiere.
It was really long, the season premiere. I have to say, the first half hour I thought was horrendous, and it got better. The first half hour, so what happens is there's this like somehow black hole or like somehow like wormhole. They discover that gets you from all this time in the future to like 1 billion years BC when there are dinosaurs everywhere.
On a different timeline, though, so you can't like change the future.
I like how they threw that in. At some point they throw in, it's a different timeline, so we can't change the future, so you don't have to worry about that.
Well, because, nerds would have been like, well, they can't do that, because if they killed an animal, then the future would change. So they're just like, you know what? Screw you nerds. Different timeline. You
ever see the movie Thank You for Smoking?
Yeah.
There's a scene in the movie where they're talking to this Hollywood producer guy, and he's talking about living in some oxygen-filled environment, and it's talking about everyone smoking there. And the guy goes, well, you can't smoke there. There's something where the smoke would like cause problems. He's like, oh, that's easy. You just throw a line in there to how we fix that. and then we can do it. And this is what reminded me of, we're going to change the future. Oh, you know how they figured out we're on a different timeline. Okay, cool. We move forward with that.
It's basically based on a family. The guy was trying to smuggle. The guy had a third kid, and he didn't tell the government, and so he tried to hide it. The cops found it, threw him in jail.
Well, they didn't throw him in jail. He punched the cop, and then the cop throws him in jail.
Well, they were trying to steal his baby.
They were trying to steal his kid, and so you have to like win a lottery or be recruited to go this time. And his wife was a big time doctor, so they recruited her and her family to go, and he breaks out of prison to come with them, or they help him break out of prison.
Right.
The prison seems like a pretty maximum security place. It seems like he never sees his family. Some reason or other, the show just skips over him breaking out. They go, he's going to break out. Next scene, he's online to leave.
Yeah, they kind of skip that.
They completely skip over him breaking out of the prison.
Well, the season premiere was 2 hours. I don't think we needed a half-hour prison break scene.
I know, but it was kind of ridiculous. It's like, I felt the first part, like the whole thing of the new land of the future and then breaking out, it was just kind of ridiculous.
So when they go back in time, it's like the time of the dinosaurs.
You know what? There's a show, Falling Skies. It was on recently on TNT. Mm-hmm. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you watch any of it?
No.
It's about like aliens invading, and the show wants to start where the aliens have invaded a while ago, and everything's like messed up. It basically wants to like jump like a couple of years into the invasion.
Yeah.
So they start the show off with this little girl doing drawings. It's kind of just like narrating what happened. Mm-hmm. Like then the aliens came, and it was kind of a cool way to start it. And I felt like if they were going to do something really cheesy to begin with, just find some way to like narrate it fast and just move to the dinosaurs right away. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was just kind of stupid. Like he's going to break out of jail. Oh, he's broken out of jail. Okay, cool. Oh, he's going to somehow skip the line and come. And even though they have all the security to prevent people from just jumping in there and going, he's going to figure out how to do it.
All right. Well, he had to buy a little bit. So anyway, they get to this camp. I guess they've only let in a couple hundred people. But the sixth group to go in apparently had another agenda, and they broke off from the group. And
you're moving a little forward. Called the Sixers.
Yeah, the Sixers.
It's basically kind of Land of the Lost meets the show Lost. Would that be a fair way to describe the show?
Yeah.
Because basically, so they go in, they have this little community that's formed, that's run. They have like a government, and the government gives everyone jobs, and everyone has to kind of live. It's kind of like almost a little like communist society. Mm-hmm. But the whole idea is to turn this into a utopia, but at the same time, there's a competing faction of people that came in called like on the sixth group, and they're called the Sixers, and they fight with these people. They're kind of in the show Lost. They're kind of the others,
and you don't know why they're doing this.
Yeah, and then like throughout the episode, there's little things you find out. They say like there's a lot to find out that you don't know what's going on in the show. Mm-hmm. Like there's these cave writings. You find out that the guy who's the ruler of the new land, he has a son that's been doing these writings, and there's some kind of weird connection with them, and how they're controlling like the space-time continuum they mentioned or something. Mm-hmm. And so there's things to find out. In the episode, the son, I guess, meets some girl, and they go on. The girl and their friends go outside the everything's fenced in
because there's dinosaurs.
Because dinosaurs. They go outside. They go OTG, which is outside the gates, and they have a run with the dinosaurs. They need to be rescued. That's kind of the big thing that happens.
Yeah, that was pretty much like the whole second hour of it. Just kids getting chased by dinosaurs, a couple people getting ripped apart. Most of the kids getting saved. The son of the guy who broke out of jail is probably one of the most annoying brats.
He has like a giant chip on his shoulder, because his dad went to prison. He's pissed off at his dad for going to prison because the dad punched the cop, and he said, "You shouldn't have punched the cop. Maybe you would have just gotten a fine." And if I remember the scene correctly, they were trying to take the third kid. Not that punching him was the best idea, but it wasn't like there was going to be serious consequences. He was going to jail no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess some reason or another, on the show, which is weird also, they put him in jail, but then once they put him in jail, I guess they were like, "You're back to 4 people in the family. You can keep the little kid."
Yeah. Apparently, so the little kid never got taken away. That was interesting.
but whatever. He's a bit of an a-hole. Yeah. And he's like, I hate you, Dad. You left us. And the dad's like, I've been gone for 2 years. I was in prison. You could have visited. What the hell's your problem? But he's rebellious, but you can tell he has a love interest with this other girl who has issues. His love interest is this girl who had both her parents die, and you can tell she has a backstory they're going to find out about.
Yep. So what did you think of the show?
Not horrendous. It was decent. I'd give it a second watch.
I liked it.
Oh, you liked it?
I liked it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I thought the special effects were a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's got enough open storylines that I think it could be pretty interesting.
I mean, I think there's enough there that it warrants at least a second episode to see if they can go places with this. Mm-hmm. I don't know if every week they're going to fight dinosaurs or have some adventure with that, because that'll get old pretty fast. But it was kind of cool to see the dinosaurs. I kind of was wishing it was just Land of the Lost, where they were just on their own instead of in this community. But the community lends itself to like all these storylines,
right?
And when they did introduce the Sixers, the others, I was like, oh, that makes sense. I knew they were into something like that.
Yeah, there
has to be a competing community.
But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good.
They seem to also have like a pretty well developed. They really built like a nice area there, which is surprisingly. You can go back in time and set everything up so easily. Whatever, it was part of the show. Mm-hmm. I will buy into enough of it to say. I'll say it was okay. The ratings weren't that hot for the show.
Really?
Yeah. They said Terra Nova's ratings not as high as Fox might have hoped. The 2-hour drama for the family averaged 9 million viewers and a 3.0 rating, which is not great.
Great. Figures. The one show I like.
Well, the problem with the show, here's the big problem with the show. Every episode probably costs $10 million to make.
Yeah.
So it'll never be worth the money they're paying for the episodes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is true. And they're going to have to pull in much bigger ratings for that show to be worthwhile.
And I'm trying to wonder how they were really going to work the dinosaurs in. It was beyond people just being attacked every episode. I don't know if you can really either.
Right. Well, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I really like the first episode, but I'm not sure it's going to take a huge dip downhill, next episode.
I almost would have liked the show better if it was just them showing them how they developed the community to begin with. Mm-hmm. How do you do everything with dinosaurs around you at all times?
Well, maybe they will have a flashback episode.
The other thing is that the community, the whole little community, which is probably like 50 acres or something like that. I don't know how actual big it is. And they're being surrounded by this gate, but the gates are just made out of like wooden boards or wooden logs. And I'm thinking the dinosaurs. Why are dinosaurs held out by these logs?
Well, I mean, they had like futuristic pulse cannons to like scare them away.
Oh, did they? I was like, shouldn't the fences be electric or something?
Yeah,
like,
no.
What is it?
There was that scene with the dinosaur that was like running toward the gate, and they like shot it with a pulse cannon, which didn't kill it, but it kind of like stopped it in its tracks and made it run away.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when I was watching the show, I had to spend the half hour of the show just walking my baby back and forth while holding him because he refused to go. He refused to be like not held and refused to let me sit down and not walk back and forth. So I spent actually most of the time watching the show just walking him back and forth while I watched the show. So that could have killed a little of the show for me also.
Right.
But I thought it was worth a second watch, definitely.
Okay.
I guess you like this a lot. I think it's an average. Unlike, and you hated Pan Am. I thought Pan Am was kind of average also. A little below average. It wasn't as good. I thought this show was better than Pan Am.
Okay.
Okay, what's our next show?
Our next show is Suburgatory. Now, you haven't seen 6 Feet Under. The main guy in that show is from 6 Feet Under, and he was like the best character in that show. So I was curious to see what he would do. Apparently, it's not his next show because after 6 Feet Under, he was on Law and Order for 4 years. But I don't watch that show. So,
I wish you had just watched Law and Order and not made me watch this show.
Yeah, I didn't hate it as much as most other people did. Apparently, this show got torn apart.
Okay, I want to say I watched back to back, having DVR'd them. This show and How to Be a Gentleman.
I did too. Yeah.
Well,
let's not skip ahead.
Hate everything about both those shows. I wish the writers would have to go to like Guantanamo Bay or something. I don't know. It should be like something that like you make the show, you write that script, and they're like, okay, good first try. Now let's make a real show.
All right. So that's Suburgatory.
I hate you if you want to watch one of these shows again.
Suburgatory, basically, it's a New York family. Well, it's just a divorced guy and his daughter, teenage daughter, and he finds condoms in a room and he freaks out, and then he moves to upstate New York, where it's just like a weird community.
So moves from Manhattan to the suburbs. The suburbs are all super stereotypical suburban craziness.
Like overly stereotypical to the point where it's almost unrealistic. They could have just did real like suburbia and it would have been a little better.
Well, I think the point was to be like hyperbolic about the whole thing. It was supposed to be a little bit over the top.
Okay, I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, I thought it was a little over the top, and I thought it was purposely over the top, I guess. Like,
right.
Can't be on purpose.
No, I mean the show. I didn't think the show was that bad.
Oh, God. First off, the daughter and the dad, it looks like they just met. They have no relationship. Well, I expect by mid-season they'll be having sex. There's some sexual tension going on with them. I'm just saying it's going to be the first show with father's-daughter incest.
Well, I mean, it's a typical teenage daughter-father relationship that they don't get along, really.
I know, but it seems like they don't even know each other. It's just I don't know, there's something weird. They just picked two very odd people and claimed they were family.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you could cast one of them, try to cast someone that's somewhat similar to the other person, or somewhat not similar. I don't know, even resembles the other person. It just seemed like these people. She's also very like, I guess Juno type, like throwing out like one-liners a little bit, which I hate her. I hate both people on the show. I don't know. What did you like about the show? In the first episode, they move to suburbia. They meet all these people. They meet this other fan. She goes to the school. Some bitchy girl shows her around. Turns out the bitchy girl's mom is now becomes friends with the dad, and she has to spend some time with them. And at the end of the episode, the mom turns out not to be that bad because she buys her a bra.
That's really kind of sounds stupid when you say it like that.
Kinda. First of all, when she they're in the dressing room and she like unzips her shirt and like goes for her bra, and you're like, what the hell's going on with this show? And then the episode she gets like the mom's like, oh, you don't have a good bra. I'll get you a good bra. And gets her a good bra.
Here's the thing,
And I want her to try on the bra because I'm like, oh, let's see if it's a better bra.
I didn't even think it was really funny, but it was, I don't know, I wasn't miserable. So, I liked it better than The New Girl.
I thought this was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's all those shows. The New Girl's terrible also. All these shows, the problem is the writers are trying so hard to make it funny and so hard to make it so good. And I guess you're supposed to try hard, but it just comes across like you're trying too hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of our complaints about Whitney.
Yeah, but Whitney has some really some funny lines. I can never imagine the show ever being funny.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the guy is like. He's an architect. He shows up at this woman's house and he's like, I'm an architect. She's like, oh, okay, come in. And he's like, how do you know I'm really the architect? He makes this big joke about how I could just come in and kill you. She's like, okay, come in anyhow. And I think he's supposed to work for her, but then they never show him doing anything for her again. They're just friends going forward.
Right.
It's just weird.
I don't know.
I just, the thing with the show is I would be shocked if the show lasts more than 6 or 7 episodes. I can't imagine there's really an audience for this kind of show.
I think I'm being extra lenient just because I really like the main actor in the show.
His friend actually was kind of funny, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it was just...
I don't know.
It was just a weird show.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to see what they do in the second episode.
You're gonna make me watch this?
If you're making me watch Pan Am, I may make you watch this.
I'd almost like take that one back. You're not have to watch. It gets a 7.4 on IMDb, which shocks me.
Well, we've already agreed that IMDb is a waste of time as far as ratings go.
Yeah, it really... I just don't understand why people like this. Are there reviews on IMDb?
Yeah, there's written reviews on it.
Where do you find the reviews?
I'm not sure. I'm not on it now, but...
I found some reviews. Really liked the pilot. I thought the show was great. Very funny. Good acting. Signed, the lead actress.
All right, let's move on to How to Be a Gentleman.
Okay, so How to Be a Gentleman...
Let's take a quick break first, and then we will review How to Be a Gentleman.
Okay.
Let's cut to the chase. I'm DJ, and I do a little something called the Green Light Show. Now, I want you to be a fan of the show, so I'm making you listen to this sample. And these girls, they think, as long as I show off my tits, I'm fat. I'll wear the skin-tight shirt and show off all my tits.
Yeah, I see
That'll look real good.
I see that a lot, actually, and it's rather disgusting.
And I've heard these girls, they'll say stuff like, well, you're looking.
Yeah, because I want to throw up.
Yeah, just because I'm looking at your enormous exposed tits, that doesn't mean I like them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like driving by a car wreck, if I were to see a 6-year-old boy's head smashed and run over by an SUV... Just because I can't look away, that doesn't mean I like the way it looks. I went to go see Toy Story 3.
My bad.
I don't mean to spoil the movie for anybody, but Andy dies.
Does he get AIDS?
Andy gets AIDS in Toy Story 3 from a gay orgy. He got drunk. He went up to...
At college.
The plot of this is, it shows Andy leaving his parents in the beginning, his mom's house.
Yeah, his single mom.
Where the fuck is Andy's dad?
His mom's a single mom.
So the opening scene is just Andy going, "Out of here, Mom, fuck off!" And Andy drives off to his college.
Smoking weed.
Andy gets to college, and the first thing, he opens the door to his new apartment. And his roommates, who he's never met, are in there. They go, "Hey, Andy, rub this on your tongue." Andy starts fucking all these dudes. It's a big, giant orgy.
Wow.
It's like gays and lesbos and normals, and they're all just intertwined fucking.
That's weird.
And then Woody shows up, but it's not Woody. It's Andy's dick with a cowboy hat on it. And he goes, "Check out my Woody!" If you like what you hear, head on over to greenlightshow.com. You can find out everything about the show right from the homepage. greenlightshow.com. See you there.
I need a garage door opener for my balls.
What?
What the fuck? I don't like the smell that usually forms down there if I go for a couple days without washing.
I'm proud of you.
It smells like onions wrapped in asshole. What the fuck are we talking about?
Hey, Dad, remember that one time I got that cock stuck in my ass?
He just went over legs and arms. In a truck not too hard to locate, featuring painted images of a peeled banana, the exposed pot shaped like a condom, and a shirtless man saying, "I protect myself," to you.
What kind of fucking question is this? I'm the host of the show, and I get put down on every episode.
I love you, Tim.
John is a man of God.
Shed his precious blood.
Shed his precious blood.
And died.
And died.
Oh, my sin. And now the three guys that taught your mom that thing you like. It's Minor Detail.
MinorDetailPodcast.com.
All right, we're back.
Still can't believe you like that show. Well, How to Be a Gentleman, I didn't think it was as bad as everything else, but I hate it nonetheless.
I thought that was the second worst thing we've seen so far. I thought that was... All right, here's the thing.
have to say the first...
We're supposed to be like actually saying what it's about first. It's an odd couple. The guy's a gentleman, and he meets basically the opposite of him. I don't even know why.
Okay,
really.
Here's the show. You're missing a little bit. Okay, so he works for a magazine. He writes an article called How to Be a Gentleman, hence the title of the show. And it's all about gentlemanly things, and he's a bit of a loser but wants to hold the principles up of being a very conservative gentleman. He's kind of a type. He's kind of like has a stick up his ass at all times. Anyhow, so his magazine gets taken over. We find out in the first scene by his and his boss David Foley is like, "We're being taken over, but they want us to appeal to a hip crowd. So you have to write now hip articles." So they see him at his family's house. Well, the first scene, by the way, David Foley is his boss. David Foley is actually kind of funny. Did you not think David Foley was funny?
I didn't think it was funny, but I didn't think it was bad. Here's the thing. It has David Foley. I don't know if you've seen Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
But the manager from that is in it, and he is great in Flight of the Conchords. It has the girl who played Chloe in 24, who I also really like. It has Johnny Drama, who I liked from Entourage. And the main character is Rickety Crickets or Jiminy Crickets or whatever his name is from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So
the show might as well be called Minor Characters We Love.
Yeah, exactly. I liked every single person in the show.
So he ends up Chloe, the girl from 24 is his sister. She's like, "You're a loser," and she wants him to like go to a gym, gives him a membership to get a personal training session. When he goes there, he runs into Johnny Drama. Johnny Drama is like the exact opposite of him, the opposite of a gentleman, so hence the odd couple pairing. And he ends up hanging out with Johnny Drama to learn how to basically not be a gentleman so he can write these articles in a magazine.
Yep.
And basically, there's actually some like minor funny things in this episode. But it's just, I've seen this dumb odd couple thing already.
You know what the show is missing? Jokes.
I was going to say vampires, but jokes is important also.
It was really bad.
It was just kind of like...
It was aggravating.
His character's just so annoying. The snotty, like, I'm going to be a gentleman and all that...
Yeah, actually, him and Johnny Drama were both just completely annoying. Chloe didn't do anything, whatever her character in the show was. The boss from Flight of the Conchords was pretty lame. Dave Foley was okay, but he had like 3 lines.
It's just the two main characters are characters that will never be developed. They're going to be black and white characters. I'm a gentleman. I'm not a gentleman.
Yeah.
Let's just go forward like this. I can't see the show ever developing these two characters.
It was one of the most terrible shows.
And the way they're like, you have to buy into the way they end up coming back, like becoming friends again and like hanging out together. But I mean, they might as well just randomly pair them off of Craigslist and be like stuck and living together and just make it the actual Odd Couple remake.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that would happen.
And yeah, it's just it's too much like you've seen this like pairing. They might as well make them cops and make a good cop, bad cop also while you're at it.
Yeah.
It's really just a dumb show that will only like get by in the fact that you have some good actors in the show and hopefully they'll be funny.
You know how I know it's a bad show?
How?
I was angry when it was over. It's not even like it wasn't funny. It was so unfunny that I was actually in a bad mood.
I mean, between Suburgatory and that one, I was really just like, I can't believe I watched these two shows. These are really... I don't think I'm being too negative when saying these shows are two of like the... I mean, they're sent here by the devil.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, but
so there's
it's
no
also
way we're
hard to say what's the
again.
worst show we've seen, but like they're all really bad.
There's no way we're watching Gentlemen again, right?
No, God, no. Yeah.
All right, so we're definitely not watching Gentlemen again. You want to watch Pan Am again. We both agreed on Terra Nova.
Don't we have one more show?
No, I think that was it.
Oh, really? That was it? There's no more awful shows we had to watch?
No. This coming week, we only have American Horror.
Oh, is that what only thing we have this week?
Yeah.
Okay, then we should have to watch. I guess we have to watch Whitney again.
Yep.
Terra Nova and Pan Am.
If you're making me watch Pan Am, I'm making you watch Suburgatory.
Okay, you know what? Actually, I don't need to watch Pan Am again.
You hated Suburgatory that much.
Do you think it's better for the show if we watch them again?
I mean, if you liked, the rule is if one of us likes it, then we have to watch it again.
I think Pan Am. You know, I am just like getting tired of. Like, I wish the show was like instead of an hour long, like 12 minutes long. I'm just tired of watching so many shows.
Yeah.
You know, you're right. Pan Am doesn't look that good. But I really love Mad Men, so I'm hoping one of the shows could actually develop to be a decent like Mad Men like copycat, I guess.
I mean, if you want, we could give it one more shot.
Okay, let's just give it one more episode and see how bad it is.
All right.
I'm actually excited about American Horror. I mean, at least the previews look all kind of cool for American Horror.
Yeah. All right, so I think we're going to end up watching 4 shows this week.
Okay, so American Horror, Suburgatory, Terra Nova, 5 shows.
Yeah, Pan Am and Whitney. Jeez, okay. But you know what? Probably by next week we'll be down to 2 or 3. Yeah,
I mean, obviously we're not going to watch Suburgatory again after this episode, and we're obviously not going to watch Pan Am again. Yeah, you know what? We can kill Pan Am. I'm never going to really want to watch that show. You're right. We can watch Suburgatory again because it's a half hour long. I'll kill Pan Am. It wasn't that interesting. I really had high hopes for it, but you're right. I don't see it actually going anywhere.
Yeah, I really feel like that it's... I don't know. I feel like it's just going to be one of those... I don't even know what it's going to be because all they did is get on a plane and fly and then land. And it took an hour to do that. Like, I really don't know. Is that going to be every episode? They're going to fly and then there's going to be, like, some sort of drama that nobody cares about. And then it's an hour later.
Well, I mean, they are stewardesses, so you'd have to think a lot of the action is going to happen in the flight or in the new, like, they seem to, here's what they do. They do the drama in the flight, and they do, like, flashbacks also. They tell part of the story.
Yeah, but all the flashbacks were terrible.
Yeah, and I guess there was one where this guy proposes to this girl, and then she, like, just turns up missing.
Great. Who cares?
Yeah, he's like, will you marry me? And she's like, can we talk about this later when I'm gone? Okay, we'll cut Pan Am. I'd rather just do 4 shows this week. And Suburgatory's half hour long. I'd rather just sit through that one more time.
And we'll probably ditch it after this episode.
My theory is we'll probably stick with Terra Nova for an extra week after that. Whitney will be up for an extra week. And I think American Horror will get a second episode.
I don't know. We'll see.
Do you not think American Horror looks good?
I do, but, I also thought Up All Night looked good, so I'm not getting my hopes up for any show.
My hopes are the highest for this show.
You said that about Up All Night.
Yeah, but now I'm saying it's about a different show, and so you have to, like, think my opinion's legitimate now.
All right, we'll see. I mean, I would like it, I would like for one of these shows to actually be good.
Have we got any response on, like, Twitter or anyone, like, does anyone care about these reviews?
No, nobody cares about us.
No one cares about this show.
No.
It'd be nice if one person was like, good review, or I agree with you, or just anything like, I watched this show also and I thought you guys were wrong, or you guys are idiots, or stop doing so negative reviews, or stop doing so positive reviews, or anything, or...
Our only comment in the last, 6 months was I was a closed-minded idiot for not liking facial piercings.
That, and we can pretend the comment, the spam about wanting to optimize our website for Google is a real comment.
Yeah. So you can vote on Podcast Alley again.
Yeah, I got to do that.
Yeah. And you can go to breakupsanityshow.com. Everything's on there. Our Twitter, our voicemail, our email, all the things you ignore every week, you can continue to ignore them on breakupsanityshow.com. You can subscribe on iTunes. That would be cool. And you could like the Facebook page. Boost our self-esteem.
Yeah. I should do that.
Yeah, you should do that. That'll be cool.
How are the downloads for September?
We had our best month since January.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, that's good. I don't know if that means anything, but it's good.
Yeah. Of course, before January, we had like 14 straight months that were better. But for 2011, I guess we got to reset our expectations for 2011. And for 2011, it was a good month.
Are you going to join Google Plus?
I am.
What is Google Plus?
It is
what the hell is it?
Google Plus is what you join if you like Facebook, but you want to have no posts on your wall. Because
what do you do on there? I don't even know how you just sign up for it.
You need an invite. Do you want an invite?
Not really.
I mean, basically, everyone posts on Facebook anyway. So if you go on Google Plus, you'll have 1/10 as many friends, and nobody posts on it because nobody else posts on it. So you just kind of log in, look around, and then log off.
So what the hell do you do with it?
Not much. I mean, the only cool thing is when you add somebody, you have these circles, and you can just drag the person's name into a circle. So when you post something, you'd say, which circle do you want to see this post on? So you can add mom and grandma, but then add them to, a different circle. Because I would like doing that. I would like dragging all my stupid friends to, a boring circle on Facebook and then talk about them. But, I guess Facebook added that now, but I'm not going to go through, 200 friends. Which I'm finding is actually not that much compared to most people on Facebook. I don't know why people have, 700-800 friends. You don't know that many people in real life.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know 200 people in real life. But, or enough that, share every freaking, idiot, I ate cake this afternoon. Thank you, guy I went to high school that hasn't seen me in 10 years. I'm glad you know that. Or tell me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't understand the point of... So the whole thing of separating and... Can you... So someone, is, at your place and they're looking over your back and, they're like, oh, you're on Google Plus. Oh, cool. Why am I in the not-so-cool friends? Or why am I on the lame group on your thing? Why am I not in the inner circle?
No, they can't see your circles. That's the cool thing.
No, if they're at your place, if they see you log on.
Well, you just see a circle and a number. You'll see a circle and then 5 next to it, and you'd have to actually click into it. I mean, I guess if you didn't know your friend was standing behind you and you clicked on that circle and you saw his name.
You know, it's going to be a whole thing of girls, a boyfriend and girlfriend's fighting where the girl will log into his account and be like, why am I in the third circle? I should be a first circle person. What's your problem?
Yeah. But that's that'll be the next generation of problems.
Yeah.
Because we don't have real problems anymore. All problems are Facebook. My girlfriend watches that Teen Mom show, and every episode is oh my God, I can't believe he commented on her picture on Facebook. And every single fight between these girls is over a Facebook thing.
Oh my God, that show's awful. My wife watches that also, and it's really, really... I can't believe these people are rich.
I don't know if they get paid or not.
They have to get paid. You don't think the people on Team Mom are rich?
Well, then, sometimes they're well, I want to go out tonight, but I don't have enough money for a babysitter. So,
I get the idea maybe they're not allowed to show they have money or something like that.
But then they have to suffer, too, because, one girl had to drop out of school because she didn't have enough money. And, if she was getting paid, she would have enough money for school. So, I don't understand how it works.
Why would you have MTV film your life and not pay you?
To have the hopes that you'll be so cool on the show that you'll get your own reality show afterwards?
I mean, I can see someone being on True Life and being on one episode, but being on a series where they follow you for an entire series and they go into your home and they have to really invade your privacy and everyone around you privacy, I'd be shocked if they don't get paid.
I put up the episode of True Life on YouTube where I'm in it.
Oh, wait, what? You're on True Life?
Yeah, I'm on True. You've never been?
Oh, yeah, no, I've never been on. Shockingly.
Yeah. I'm a big nerd, so I entered a video game competition, and apparently they were filming True Life I'm a Gamer, and in the first round I had to play a professional gamer. And he wiped the floor with me.
And this turned out to be a guy on the show.
The guy I had to play was the guy they were focusing on for that episode. And I said, how often do you play this game? Because I'm pretty good and you just destroyed me. And he said, 11 hours a day. And I said, well, I don't feel bad anymore. One game.
You should win, actually, and you should feel bad if you lose to me if you're playing 11 hours a day.
Yeah, then
that's
I was
ridiculous.
like, well, why didn't you beat me more if you're playing 11 hours?
Yeah. Does Teen Mom get paid? I'm looking at this at Google right now.
Yeah, I just Googled that, and apparently they get
Report, MTV's Teen Mom paid $65,000.
So...
I mean, there has to be some...
Why are they all living in, like, shacks and stuff?
Because it's not a reality show. There's no such thing as reality shows. They don't show reality shows. They show, like, it's like Jersey Shore. The Jersey Shore, they don't talk about the fact if they're super rich now. You don't see on the show, like a situation being like, I just made $5 million last year.
Yeah.
And when they go out clubbing, they're still pretending to, like, meet people as opposed to, like, in real life, they are, like, they're surrounded by bodyguards and people have to sign waivers to go hang out with them. And everyone knows who they are right away.
Yeah.
So I think the Teen Mom thing is also like, they're like, we'll pay you, but you're not allowed to use that money while we're filming the show. And you have to pretend you're not getting paid. And they probably have scenes where she's like, well, why? I mean, who cares if I drop out of school? I'm making, like, loads of money off of this. And they're like, cut. Now just say you have to drop out of school and cry instead. And she's like, okay. And she does the scene again.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it. Because I was at the filming of What Not to Wear, and they're like, all right, go over to the door and act surprised. Now walk over here and smile, and then, stand over here and clap. And, like, every move was kind of, like, choreographed. Yeah.
I mean, you get the idea if the show wasn't really choreographed, that child services would take some of these kids away also.
Well, I think they have for half of them, even though it is choreographed.
They're like, oh, it's choreographed by MTV. It's not really taking away our kids. And MTV's like, no, they're taking away your kids. We're going to still pay you, but that's real.
All right. So, yeah, we only got one new show, and then we have 3 returning shows.
As we've killed Pan Am, because Jay talked me into it, and then I was like, it's an hour long. I can't imagine watching the show again.
Yeah, so we got a couple returning, but I would say Whitney and Suburgatory are on a short leash.
The thing is, for a great show, there aren't many great shows that I can think about where you watch the first episode, you would say, like, I would have not killed this show. Because if you think about some of the greatest shows ever, the first episode of Seinfeld is kind of boring. You would have killed that show after 1 or 2 episodes. You would have killed Simpsons, definitely, in the first season, the first couple episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd be like, this is lame, this is kind of stupid, this is a one-joke show, and the kid's not that funny, and why are we watching that? Mm-hmm. You would have killed, I guess, I don't know if you're a big fan of Cheers, you would have killed Cheers right away, because Cheers was kind of slow. Mm-hmm. I can't think of that many, like, top shows that, like, start off that great. Even Lost starts off, I guess you would have said Lost, let's watch this a little more.
No, the first episode was actually probably my favorite episode.
Of Lost. Yeah, actually, the first episode was pretty good. I guess I wasn't, like, hooked right away, but, like, that show I probably would have kept watching. 24, you're definitely going to keep watching. It had action right away. It was kind of good. Cool. But there are a lot of shows that you'd watch that you would have, like, just killed.
But a lot of these shows I don't even see potential in. Like, I'm trying to be a little more lenient, but a lot of these shows I just can't see ever getting good.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't see the premise. Like, How to Be a Gentleman will never be like, oh, man, that was one of the greatest shows ever. Remember in the second episode, they started actually developing the characters? And they got rid of the whole How to Be a Gentleman premise? And they...
Yeah, and that's, a lot of these shows, I'm really saying, like, even if I don't like it, I'm trying to see, like, well, can this become a good show? Which is, I think, why we're giving some of these shows even a second shot.
But this is really the truth why the only shows I watch now, the only new shows, are shows that are recommended that have been on the air for a couple of years. I only will start watching a show that way because that way I know I'm going to watch something good, and I know to give a show a chance.
Yeah, me too. That's why I usually wait a couple of years. I'm like, well, if it's good, it'll still be on the air, and then I can start watching.
I didn't think Mad Men looked that great when I first started watching it, but I was like, everyone told me it's a great show, just stick with it. So I started, like, by the third episode, I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And the whole first season, like, it's slow but good, not amazing. And then, like, by the second season, I'm like, I love this show.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these shows are a slow burner, but, like, Charlie's Angels, you know it's going to be the same thing every single episode.
Yeah, and I don't know why we watched that. I feel like we watched that show because it was like for comedic purposes only. And not that we were even that funny reviewing it, but that just seemed really bad.
Well, we thought it was going to be really, really bad, and it was bad enough that it was hard to make fun of, but it's not worth watching. Instead of just like, funny bad.
I mean, every show has to get its footing and develop their characters a little bit, so you like know what to expect from the characters. Very few shows that you just start off like so strong and the characters so developed right away. You're like, this is great.
I understand that, but I still feel comfortable about the ones we've cut so far.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see New Girl ever developing to be good. Up All Night, they've already given up on the Up All Night the baby premise.
I know.
I just don't see a lot of like it's. I guess some of those shows like just seem like they're trying to be kooky and like trying to be like super funny, and they're not. Whereas Whitney, I could see like Whitney seems genuinely funny, and her ideas seem genuinely funny. They haven't executed that great so far, but I can see if that show is given a chance, maybe it can get better.
Right, that's why we haven't cut it yet.
Yeah, if you see the characters develop a little more, it might be decent. Suburgatory, I don't know why you think it's going to be decent, but we'll watch another episode of that.
I don't either, and I feel like I might be making a mistake, but
it's only a half hour, I guess.
It's only a half hour, and we're cutting shows really quickly.
This whole thing's going to be over pretty soon. I
mean, out of 10 shows, we're down to, what, 4?
Yeah, I mean, barely. I mean, let me see what the shows we watched. If anything's, like, all the shows we watched from the start, The Ringer, we just knew was like a soap opera. It just seemed terrible. And I can't see that ever getting better. Up All Night, same thing. Playboy Club, it's just so boring, and it should be on HBO, not on NBC. New Girl's terrible. Charlie's Angels is just a dumb trick pony. Whitney thinks we have potential. Pan Am could have some potential. That's the thing with Pan Am. The reason I said we should watch it, because it could be like a slow burner that kind of develops and gets good, but I don't love any of the 4 female leads either. So, So that's why I can see the show. And I mean, and maybe it sounds sexist, but I'm just really not as interested in the show following 4 women.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's, I mean, none of them seemed even remotely interesting.
Terra Nova has a lot to work with. I mean, you're 8 billion years BC. It's all from the future. They have a lot to work with. I could see this being a show that could be interesting for the first season. I don't see it ever being great. How to Be a Gentleman, it's awful. American Horror, we'll see. I don't know what American Horror is about. They just show like these weird commercials that have I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Every single show we watched the previews of had like 4 to 5 minute previews, and American Horror is a 30-second one.
American Horror, they show all these ads, and they just show these really weird, like creepy things.
It looks like a Tim Burton movie TV show.
Yeah, I mean, I expect the show to be very quirky and be maybe a show that might take an episode or 2 to really get into.
And the week after that, the only show we have is the Tim Allen show.
I mean, I would cut that already before watching it. Well, I know that's going to be horrible.
If we didn't add that, we would have 3 weeks before the next show.
The next one's Grimm, which we probably will cut right away. Then Alan Gregory, which could be funny. Who the hell knows? And then we have mid-season. The mid-season ones look. The mid-season ones might start pretty soon because the shows they're replacing might be canceled pretty soon. But like Alcatraz looks interesting. Awake looks interesting. I don't remember what these shows are about anymore. And The River, I think, is interesting. I don't know if that's interesting or not.
The networks are going to be like, it's mid-season. Like, it's only November. Like, no, it's mid-season.
I'm really intrigued by Awake. The whole he lives in someone's. It just seems so weird. That's the one where. In one reality, his son's dead. In one reality, his wife's dead from a car accident. And he doesn't show which reality he actually lives in.
Right.
I mean, that's just like a bizarre premise. It's it's one of those shows that you expect to be on cable, not on regular TV. You wouldn't think they would take a chance on something so bizarre.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with that one.
I mean, it's the one show that seems like it might be breaking new ground versus... I guess Terra Nova breaks new ground in some respect also.
By breaking new ground, you mean recreating Run, Lola, Run or Sliding Doors?
Oh, well, yeah. I didn't see either movie. To be honest, I know what Sliding Doors is about. I don't know what Run Lola Run's about.
Run Lola Run is like the same story 4 times, and then it's a German movie, and then Sliding Doors said, well, 4 times is pretty complicated. Let's just dumb it down to 2 times.
Oh, that is better. I like dumbing down.
But Run Lola Run was like an intense, action-filled story, whereas Sliding Doors was kind of like a slow, like romantic type of one.
Well, it's just like some guy makes like different decisions in his life. Is that it?
Well, no. Gwyneth Paltrow just misses a subway, and then that's where the movie splits, and then they go back and forth between what if she got on the subway and what if she didn't. And she gets on the subway and she catches her husband cheating, and she doesn't. And I guess you're right. These things aren't really like new ground. It's just interesting that he's living in 2 realities and can't figure out which reality he's living in. That's the part I find interesting. Yeah, the other ones were just showing what could happen. They weren't. Did you ever see the movie Mr. Destiny, starring Jim Belushi? No. He's like his whole life. When he was in Little League. It was the last at bat and the chance to win it all, and he struck out. And he thinks his life would have been changed if he'd hit that home run. Mm. And so he has like a good, nice life, but then like someone gives him a chance to I guess a genie, or whatever, gives him a chance to. It probably turns out to be the devil, but gives a chance to like relive his life if he had hit that home run. And his life, he goes from like being like middle management to be like hugely successful. He gets the super hot girl and like gets all these things, but then it all seems really empty. He misses the life he had. And it's like, it's actually like, it's one of those movies. It's like, it's Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. You're flipping through the channels, you have nothing to watch. You turn this on. It's enjoyable enough to watch. Gotcha. All right, so we'll be back soon. Yes. And I guess we'll do some other stuff because I don't think we're going to have enough to fill up the whole episode with TV stuff. You don't think so? I think we can. I don't know. We'll see. We have 4 episodes. That's pretty good. Oh, yeah. That's true. Maybe we'll throw in a normal episode just for the people who don't like all these TV reviews. You know what's great? We don't know who likes it or doesn't like it because no one's even responding. You know what? Maybe we'll just do what we want because nobody tells us otherwise. It doesn't really matter what we do. It's like it's not like. I mean, if there's a fan out there who's like, oh, man, I actually really like the TV reviews. They're going to do a normal episode? That's probably, who the hell knows? Okay, you know what? Next episode, we're going to do what we feel like, and it may be a TV episode. It may not be. I may just be drunk and slurring. Who knows? If we did that episode where we previewed like this whole thing about the TV watching, mm-hmm. and then never talked about it again, and to see if anyone listens to our show enough to be like, did you guys say you were going to watch all these shows and these reviews, and you guys don't even mention TV ever again in your show? Well, I mean, it could have happened. I put that up, and then I put a different episode up before we actually reviewed anything. So it was 2 weeks, and not one person said anything. Are you going to put the Hurricane episode up soon? We filmed an episode during Hurricane Irene, or right after Hurricane Irene. We talked all about the hurricane, and Jay still hasn't put that episode up yet. Well, because we have more time well, I guess that one's time sensitive, but not more time sensitive. Jay has an episode about 9. He filmed. He did right after 9/11. Hasn't found the right time to release it yet, but it'll be really irrelevant whenever he releases it. Well, I mean, we keep having to put up the TV ones because, like, do we really want to put up a review of The Ringer in like November? No. It's very time sensitive. It's just funny that he's been talking about releasing the episode about the hurricane for a month now because we did it a month ago. Yeah, well, that's because I did 3 that weekend. Yeah, no. He got ahead of it. He had more shows to release, finally. Yeah. Well, that's good. Okay. Then I won't have, like, breaks without episodes. You should splice that episode into, like, other episodes. I might have to if I don't get to it. But the thing is, like, every time I skip a week, we lose, like, 70% of our fans, and they never come back, ever. It's like, oh, the show missed a week, I guess it's canceled. I'm not even going to refresh iTunes to see what happened to the show. We'll just never listen to the show again. Because that's probably what happened. He probably just quit the show forever. Yeah, that's definitely what happened. I took, like, 2 weeks off over Christmas, and, like, that was when we were getting, like, thousands a month, and then it just, like... everyone disappeared. So, yeah. Thanks for that. That was cool. Anyway, we will be back next week, so you don't have to quit and never come back. Yes. So we'll be back with something, whatever we feel like, because we don't get feedback.
Okay, perfect.
Goodbye.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. It's over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say